Namaste, Anita. Happy Independence Day to you. Looking forward to another episode with you today.
Namaste. Wish you a very happy Independence Day too.
In our previous episode, we were talking about the mindset needed to learn yoga. In today's episode, I'm quite keen to explore common misconceptions around yoga, both from a student's lens and a teacher's lens. I'll start with the student's lens today. The first question I have for you, if you're into other forms of exercise, do you still need to do yoga? What are the benefits of getting into yoga?
Okay, like as we discussed in our last episode, yoga is not an exercise. Yoga is a way of life. So it is a treasure that has been given to us to help us maintain a holistic well-being, both mentally, physically, and then later spiritually as well. So considering yoga as an exercise is not correct. However, yoga can give you the benefits that any form of exercise can give you and more. So how is yoga different from your traditional forms of exercise? So when we look at the way exercises are performed, they are at sudden spurts of contraction or relaxation of your muscles, more like stretching, contracting, and getting into it suddenly. But yoga is a very gradual build-up wherein we take our breath, body, and the movement in sync. And the second thing is like when you're doing high endurance and repetitive movements, your mind tends to wander. You will be like doing maybe 20 kilometers of running, but you might be thinking 20 million thoughts. But when you are on a yoga mat and you are doing an asana, you need to be completely present with your practice to actually be able to get into it with proper alignment and breathing. So I think yoga helps you to stay grounded and focused and present with your practice. I think that's most important when you do any form of exercise. And the third thing is like, even though you are exercising, you might not take the time to actually go for a cool down or stretch after your exercise. Most of the time, people are like squeezing in things to get maximum benefit within the time period. Either going to a gym, you have a 1 hour slot, you're like working through 55 minutes, and the 5 minutes that you have, you may or may not stretch. But in yoga, that is not there. If you're doing any pose which you have used your muscle for a long time, or which you have contracted a particular muscle, there is an immediate counter. You're going to relax it and release tension from that movement. So you're assuming you do an intense deep back bend. There will always be a forward bend to counter and release tension from that muscle group which you worked. So in that way, I think it's very scientific. And the isometric stretching, which we talk about quite a bit in today's exercise jargon, is already built in when you do your yoga practice. So to answer your question, yoga is not an exercise, but yoga can be part of any exercise routine so that you can reap multiple benefits from it.
So all in all, it's holistic, incorporates breath work, which most other forms of exercise don't. And there's always a counter position, which makes sure you get the holistic benefit again of exercising your muscles in the right way, giving it the long-term flexibility and endurance that you need. Now, the next question that I wanted to get into is more around, is yoga only for the fit and healthy? And if you have other pre-existing medical conditions, can you still do yoga?
So yoga is for everyone. Anybody can practice yoga. But saying that, as a student, it is important that you inform your teacher of your pre-existing conditions. Like if you have hypertension, if you're pregnant, or you've recently given birth, or you have had some surgery, or any condition that you might have, it is important that you inform your teacher so that they can suggest modifications and contraindications. Because there are asanas and even pranayama where you are not supposed to do it if you have a particular condition because it may aggravate it. So you need to inform your teacher so that they can tailor the class according to your need. And the second thing is treating yoga as a cure. Now, there are qualified therapists. There are people who have specialized in yoga therapy who can help you to manage specific diseases or specific conditions that you have. But you cannot expect the same thing from a general yoga teacher. As a person who takes a yoga class for a group of people, they might not be able to help you manage your disease if you are looking for that kind of a treatment from your yoga teacher. So you cannot substitute a yoga class for medical advice. And you cannot expect that you will see improvement immediately after you go to a yoga class. So you have to give it time as well. Like for example, even a general thing like a posture improvement, you need to work on it consciously and every day for you to actually reap the benefits and understand how it is going to change the way you stand, the way you sit. So you need to be regular, consistent, and give yourself time to actually reap the benefits of the class.
So not all yoga teachers are yoga therapists, and don't expect instant results. It's about continuous practice.
Right.
Now, building on this particular topic, I appreciate not all yoga teachers are yoga therapists, but how important is it for a yoga teacher to know anatomy? I have in the past encountered yoga teachers that have no understanding of anatomy. So do you think, I'm getting into the realms of teachers' misconceptions, do they or do they not need to know anatomy?
See, anatomy is an important aspect of yoga. You need to understand it to actually guide your students to perform the asanas injury-free and also to get into the right alignment. So anatomy is an integral part of yoga which we need to understand in order to guide our students properly. Now, earlier days, when you had a physical practice, that is where you were going and practicing along with your teacher. Your teacher was probably making physical adjustments to your body, like maybe lifting your hip up slightly or changing the direction of your leg. So what they were doing is like anatomically correcting the alignment so that you do not get into, so that you can do it injury free. But now that we are in an online environment and you're doing a class online, it becomes all the more imperative that you need to understand the anatomy very well to guide your students and cue them accordingly. You need not throw scientific jargons at them, but at the same time, you should be able to tell them what to move and what to hold still. So that basic understanding of anatomy is very, very important.
It's really helpful. Now, my next question is shifting to teachers. Who can become a yoga teacher? Do you have to be someone who's able to do all the poses in the textbooks to become one? Or is it more about the mindset and the passion?
So I think the first thing that any yoga teacher or anybody who's aspiring to be a yoga teacher needs to know is first they have to have that passion to pursue wellness and contribute positively to the lifestyle change of the person whom they are teaching. So you need to get that mindset and passion in you first. Second thing is like there are 84 lakh asanas which have been known, and out of which it is impossible for anybody to actually perform all of them. So if you are going to wait till you're going to finish learning X, Y, Z asanas to become a teacher, that's never going to happen. So saying that yoga is a constant journey, it is not a destination. You have to include it as a part of your everyday life. As a teacher, as a student, as a yoga practitioner, it is something that you work on every day and see incremental progress. So you cannot treat it like an exam where you are answering certain questions and you get a pass mark and say you're qualified. It is not that way. So it is a journey which you grow together with your students, and it is an internal journey of how you grow yourself as a person. So anybody can become a yoga teacher as long as you have the passion, interest, and an accepting mindset.
Now, I want to drift off to a question that's equally applicable for both students and teachers. Let's say you've been working towards a build-up of a hard asana. Let's take the headstands as an example, and you've accomplished it. Does that mean you're done? And does that mean that you've learned it for life and you can do that at any point in time in your life?
So as we said, this is a continuous journey. You need to practice every day. So you cannot just rely on muscle memory or strength to do an asana anytime, anywhere, anything. Your body is different each day. So you might be able to do one asana on day A, but when you go to day 2, you might not be able to do it, and you should be accepting of it because our bodies are different. They react different ways on different days. That being said, if you are not practicing a certain asana for a long time, it is possible that you might not be able to do it when you do it again. It will come to you, but it needs work. So there is constant work that you need to put in to be able for you to do it at all times. It is not going to happen magically. It is not magic. It is continuous effort put over a period of time with frequency and consistency.
Thanks, Anita. So we've gone through a number of questions today, and it certainly made me more confident on what to expect from yoga. I hope everyone that was listening in today, both from a teacher's perspective and student's perspective, got more insight into what yoga can offer. If you have more questions, please reach out to us on Why for Yoga. And if you'd like to join Anita's classes, please reach out to her on Why for Yoga, either on Instagram or leave comments on our YouTube video. Looking forward to meeting you all in the next episode. Namaste, Anita. Namaste, everybody else.
Thank you. Namaste, everyone. Have a great weekend.